Before Stonehenge was erected and before any center buildings appeared, there was the evolution of the Aubrey Circle. Most likely before the ditch was dug, there was a simple but large timber palisade in the position of the outside edge of the ditch. This circular palisade was at the head of the avenue. Then, construction started for a much more substantial enclosure. Split tree trunks were used to form two outer faces. Then the space in between was filled with chalk excavated from the ditch location. What was achieved was a wall over 1.5 meters thick by 6 meters high. The split face of the tree trunks would have been daubed in a chalk mortar-like plaster. To cap the wall, turf would be laid, thus forming a walkable rampart. Inside of this large circular wall, a lean-to building was built. Where the Aubrey holes are, large timber posts were positioned. On top of these posts, timber beams were fixed. Then, rafters were leant against the substantial chalk and timber wall. This lean-to roof would have been thatched and with a pitch of approximately 40 degrees. So, you can see in the scale model, the large ditch gleaming white, then an apron, before seeing the white plastered defensive wall. On top of the wall is a turf capping. Behind the wall there is the circular thatched building that rests not only on the chalk wall, but also on posts positioned in the Aubrey holes. You can now observe the circular Aubrey hole structure that would enclose a sanctuary or safe area. Also note the 2-3 meter entrances where there was a discontinuation of the ditch. That is, the ditch had two crossing positions. At around 2000 BC, the start of what we call Stonehenge began. 30 large sarsen stones are rolled into the sanctuary or safe area. We now know these stones came from an area called Westward some 20 miles away. In order to move these sarsen stones inside the Aubrey Circle, a wider opening would have been made. The model illustrates a new wider entrance of 12 meters. You can now see the position of these 30 sarsen stones, each one weighing in at 25 tons. Eventually, these stones would have been decorated with red ochre of the outer face and wonderful gold gilding on the inner face, including each side. Next, 30 sarsen stone lintels would have been positioned on top of the upright sarsens. Each lintel weighed 7 tons. There are joints to these lintels, which allows them to be correctly positioned and aligned with themselves. A dovetail joint between the lintels prevents twisting when later loading is applied. Ropes, 5 or 7 in number and each rope 40 to 50 millimeters in diameter, are tensioned around this circle of lintels. What had been achieved is the world's first pre-tensioned tension ring. Technology, 4,000 years ahead of its time. A magnificent engineering feat weighing in at over 200 tons. These 60 sarsen stones weigh nearly 1,000 tons. Later, parts of the tension ring would be decorated with gold gilding, red ochre, and maybe some blue coloring, using woad dye derived from local plants. The model shows ropes colored not just in the 3 primary colors, red, yellow, and blue, but a few other colors, giving a rainbow effect. All this work is there to support a 150-ton timber roof, and a complicated roof too, as the main part of this sits only on 3/4 of the 200-ton tension ring. Each rafter would weigh 5 tons, probably of selected Scots pine trees, used whole, and with many parts of their branches left on. This would facilitate manual moving, and later, fixing of purling and other structural elements. The roof pitch shown here is 45 degrees and illustrated in thatch. All the rafters have been decorated in woad blue. This is probably the most exciting revelation in this film. When the roof was completed, large discs and shapes were hung from the rafters. 30 stars, a crescent moon, a colored rainbow, and a larger sun disk. The stars alone would have been 1 meter in diameter and made of tin and gilded in pure yellow gold. As you can see in the model, sunlight would have shone out through the spaces between the large sarsen stones. By the use of the Nebra array of golden mirrors, sunlight is reflected off those mirrors and out through the sarsen spaces. As the sun moved in the sky, so these light shafts seemed to rotate. This very motion can be correlated with the Holy Bible and specifically the prophet Ezekiel, chapter 1, verse 12, and they went everyone, straight forward. Wherever the spirit was to go, they went, and they turned when they went. The Nebra image was hung from the roof rafters of Stonehenge an incredible 4,000 years ago. And here, for the first time, is what it would have looked like. Again, the correlations with the Holy Bible are notable and significant. Genesis, chapter 1, verse 16 reads, "And God made the two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made stars also." At this stage, Stonehenge is a building with a circular floor and a circular roof. These two elements are known as wheels. Therefore, at this stage the building is a two-wheel structure. The complete roof has a very large dormer structure covering the final quarter facing down the avenue. The dormer roof facing south weighs in at something like 70 tons and is almost balanced in place. This large dormer roof is a vulnerable element in the Stonehenge construction. After 350 years the roof deteriorates, especially where the dormer joins the main roof. Wet rot probably set in along the valley line. At some time when a severe storm struck, it was more than likely the entire dormer roof collapsed, also breaking the ropes securing the tension ring. The next stage is as simple as X, Y, Z. X is where the Aubrey holes are. The Z holes were used to take raking shores and the Y holes were used for an elaborate jacking system. After the two-wheel building is secured and made safe, new reconstruction takes place. 5 sets of trilithons are positioned under the existing main roof. These trilithons are positioned halfway between the center and the perimeter ring of sarsen stones. Sets of timber struts are placed on top of the trilithons and are used to support the very old and existing roof rafters. The blue stones are also used to support a first floor. This first floor is mainly blue stone columns with a timber floor. It acts like a gallery looking down to the altar stone positioned on the first floor. A second, or attic floor, is constructed at the stone lintel height. This floor may have facilitated the erection of the timber roof struts. But principally, this attic floor allowed better access to the Nebra image of moon, stars, and sun. Light reflecting off these could be shone down and through the spaces between the main sarsen stones. Timber poles were placed on top of the trilithons. 3 struts are used for every old rafter until the old roof is made safe and secure. The old dormer roof that collapsed was rebuilt with completely new timbers. This model can be separated, so that you can observe each element of this amazing building and learn how advanced its construction was. Here we have the ground floor, wheel 1. The first floor or gallery, wheel 2. The second floor or attic floor, wheel 3. Next the roof, wheel 4. And finally the outer courtyard and Aubrey circle. This unique configuration of Stonehenge is directly referenced in the Holy Bible. Ezekiel chapter 10, verse 10 reads, "And as for their appearances, they 4 had one likeness, as if a wheel had been in the midst of a wheel." In this model, these are the 4 wheels within a wheel. 7 large timber steps were there, at the head of the avenue. Each step with a rise of 600 mm and a tread of 1,200 mm. 2 feet high by 4 feet wide. Again, note the intrinsic links to the Holy Bible. Ezekiel chapter 40, verse 26 reads, "And there were 7 steps to go up to it." Here, we see 4 steps up, then 3 steps down, 7 in total. These steps are at the head of the avenue. Genesis chapter 2, verse 9 reads, "The tree of life, also in the midst of the Garden of Eden." Stonehenge is therefore the ruins of the tree of life, in the midst of the lost civilization of Genesis 4000 BC to 1500 BC.